Exclamation, everybody, and welcome to Void Vikings. So you might be fooled by the name, as I sort of was, thinking that this was going to be some kind of space game where you're flying around in these wooden, almost clipper ship things, and you had these badass, mecha Vikings with their giant light swords and jetpacks to jet between one ship to the next to do some boarding actions and just generally badass. This is not that. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that was the first image that came to my mind when I was thinking about this. This is more Void Vikings. The title is more of an SEO thing. It's like how do people easily find our game on Steam? We have to just string a couple words together, sort of like high school ice cream sundae or hyperspace teledildonics or something like that. It's a nice fun game to play at home to try to come up with names of games. But Void Vikings is, all my facetiousness aside, Void Vikings is actually a pretty interesting, roguelike game that's in early access right now on Steam. It is by Ugly Beard Games, and it's currently 15% off in its early access right now. It's $2.54. The normal game is $2.99 US. So it's not going to set you back too much. And it's a 2.5D bullet hell game with some upgrades and roguelike elements in it. So I should be able to show you how this game fleshes out fairly quickly. But it's actually been pretty interesting. So I'll just do a resume game here. I think that this is... Where is this going to put me? Put me on campaign 1 of 5 here, level 1 normal. So if I just do R, which that's just taking me to the next level here. This, you can see the camera is centered around your ship. And as I move the mouse cursor around, everything spins around with it, so you're always facing forward here. Got a little radar down the corner. Help me find enemies as they come in. They'll come in from all directions. And then we've got a few abilities. First of all, the left click is in this particular ship, there's a couple different ships. In this particular ship, my left click ability is my missile guns, and my right click is actual rockets. So that helps out a bit, heat-seeking rockets, I should say. My E ability down the bottom there is a little warp, get me out of trouble when I need it. Q will put out flares, which help attract enemy firing arcs at it and allow me to get out of a little bit of trouble there. And then space is a special ability. In this one, it's sort of like a flare type thing. Let me see if I can get in here a little bit closer. You can see down the bottom is my shield and my hull. My hull is the top one, the shield is the bottom one. Shield will regenerate after you've been out of combat for a couple seconds. You do need to be careful though. And then each one of these areas that we're in is a certain difficulty level. Right now I'm on normal difficulty. There's casual and then there's easy. And as you go, eventually you'll go through all the campaign missions for a particular difficulty level, and then you'll be forced to go to the next difficulty level. So that's why we're up to normal right now. And then as we go, oh man, this guy is... Now, there's one problem I will say is that these guys are really... The missiles are really good at seeking, and you're really bad at actually getting out of the way of them. Like, it's... The controls, I see what they were going for with the controls, and I'm not entirely, I don't think they're entirely terrible. I just think that it's, you get into situations like this where you're just constantly spinning in a circle and you just cannot get away from things. Now there is a little flip here, a roll, as it were, which would help a bit if I would remember to do it. But it's kind of oafy when you're using the mouse and keyboard because you have to double tap to do it, and you sort of have to hold down to just move. So it does make it a little bit weird. You can, I believe, rebind those. I don't know if you can rebind those now or not as it stands, but there is a controls controls menu, I should say. So here's the detailed stats so far on our ship that we have. This is just one of the several ships that you start out with only 2 ships that are unlocked, and then as you go along, you can unlock more ships. And here's the equipment we've picked up from things that have been dropped during the previous attempt here. So we've got a drive that has plus 16 maneuverability. That will be good. So 96. So we'll double click to put that in there. And then the old OEM drive, what you do is you hold right click and you melt it down into these upgrade units, the UUs. And those you'll use to actually upgrade as you go. So this drive actually is a lot better. So we're going to take that one and we'll get rid of this one. This shield has better recharge and everything else. So we're going to take that one and we're going to get rid of this one. This armor is slightly better. So I'll take that and get rid of the old one. This weapon is better damage per second, better DPS, but terrible with the actual damage per missile and the rocket damage thing. So I'm gonna just say no to that one. And I'm gonna say no to this one too because of the fire rate and stuff. There will be better ones as we go through there. And then this armor is, this one gives me flare duration and flare cooldown, which is actually pretty good. So I'm going to take this one even though it's less overall armor. And we'll get rid of the other one. And then the Raz shield is, wow, it has almost no recharge pause. That's pretty interesting. Even though it's got less shields and less shield recharge. You know what? I'm going to take that one because that's a really interesting one. That's a level 7 already. Okay, so we have 14 upgrade units because I've melted all those inventory items down. What I'd like to do is, this takes 8 upgrade units. So we did that. Now you see it's up to 54 now. Total shields and all that things. And then this one is 4 units. This one cannot be upgraded. So some of these you can't upgrade. You have to just get new equipment for. And the armor is upgradable. So I'm going to take that. And then this one needs 4. So we're good on that. So as you melt things down that you've picked up, you can then go and upgrade whatever ones are upgradable. Now, the other thing to note too is that you don't have to pick things up. You will as you fly around, but at the very end, after you've killed the last enemy, all the drops will fly towards your ship. So you'll still be able to grab everything that you thought you missed. So we'll hit I to come back out of our inventory, and we will jump along to the next battle. You can see up in the right-hand corner it tells you what your current level is and how many more you have in this particular campaign. And then also what your current battle level is, and that will continuously go up. So you want to be mindful of what you're doing, be mindful of what level you're on because things get progressively more difficult. And get over here. Let's do that and try and get away from those missiles for a second. We can. Wait for those missiles to try and die out on me. And then this guy is constantly moving away from us. There we go. Alright, that battle wasn't too bad. 42 seconds it took us. And as I said, the right click is for your missiles and stuff, and they regen as you go. Alright, so, or whatever your ship has. This one is just missiles mostly. What did we pick up? We picked up some armor, and I kind of like the flare duration and cooldown stuff, so I'm going to just get rid of that armor. And I'm going to try and upgrade the existing armor that I have, which will take all my upgrade units. That's fine. and then we move along. So it's pretty straightforward. And as you see, it gets a little bit more crazy as we go along. So let's see if I can... And then the other thing is, too, you can also go back to the other levels, like the casual level and whatnot, and use that as a means to get your upgrades going, get your ship well upgraded, and more armor and weapons and all that stuff, because you will need them. You will need them as you go. Let's see if I can put some flares out here and get rid of some of those. And let's jump up here, get behind this guy. Like I said, these guys are really good at just sort of flanking you, which is a little bit of a pain in the neck. I think they need to work on the maneuverability a little bit on some of these, because as you can see, it's very easy to just constantly be just out of range, and also be just have a generally difficult time to hit these guys. I mean, that might be by design, and I acknowledge that fact, but it does feel like, even though I have more maneuverable engines and stuff, it doesn't feel like that actually makes any difference. That's the other thing. Like, you can keep getting these upgrades to your engines, like this gives me +3 maneuverability, but it doesn't really feel like it's made much of a difference. You know, so I think there's some work probably needed to be done there to try to make that a little bit more, make these more meaningful as you go. Alright, so on to the next one. You also see we get score multipliers and stuff as you kill things. And I assume as you kill things and don't get hit. But good luck with that. Because, see these guys all have these balls that come after you. And trying to avoid them is not the easiest thing in the world. I mean, it's doable, but it still feels like no matter what you do, you're on a path of destruction. And these guys, as you can see, they kind of match your speed, which makes it particularly annoying to try to take them out. Of course, you can get past that by doing E like that and just jumping forward. So, like I said, I can't say that's necessarily a bad thing. It does make the game interesting, but it's something that has been bugging me a little bit. And now that we're at the end of this, near the end of this campaign, we have a little boss battle. As far as I know, these are the only bosses that I've seen in the game. Is the same boss over and over again. As you get to higher levels, you get like 2 of the boss instead of just the 1. Let's do our special ability on him. That usually does a lot of damage. Now they say in the on the early access page for this, devs do, that they're largely feature complete. They're just looking for feedback. I don't know. I guess, having not played really any of the other ships except for this one, I don't know. I feel like this is still very early access. I feel like there should be more to it than what's here. I mean, what's here is fun. Don't get me wrong, but it feels like there could be a lot more than what we have. Like, but what would that be? I couldn't tell you. Not a game designer, not a game designer at all. And honestly, there's so many roguelikes out there now that it's hard to say, you know, this one does this better or that one does that better. I mean, they're all following about the same formula usually. So this one is, see, I don't like how that does its damage. So let's go over here. What is this one? Here we go. 13 missile damage and missile fire rate and overall damage. All right, let's take that guy. And then we can get rid of this guy, because that other guy is upgradable, I think. This one, warp distance and warp cooldown, is good. Even though it's 91 less maneuverability, it's got some better stats on it. So we'll take that, and then we can always upgrade it as needed. Same with this one. And this armor, flare cooldown, flare duration, that is Even though it's more armor overall, it's not that great. I could still upgrade the one I've got. And then this is go bye-bye. So let's upgrade this guy. And let's upgrade this guy. There we go. And yeah, we got 11 upgrade units. Let's upgrade all that we can. Nice. Nice. All right, so we only have 5 left. And now you can see how everything is stacking up as far as our ship goes. And you slowly get more and more badass as you go. And since that was the last of that campaign, you can see we were on normal here. We were on Sigmonia. You could go to Alpha Centauri hard. Actually, all these words change every time you go into a new game. So what happens is there is permadeath. So once you die, that's it. Your run is done. You go back to the beginning, back to level 1, or well, level 0. And then you can pick what fighter ship you want to play next. And from there, you say, there's also some upgrade points you get, and you can sort of upgrade them from the very beginning, so they start out a little bit better as you go. Let's do Hardosio, which is actually easy. We'll just do that just for the sake of argument, because I know I can get past some of these levels. I have a feeling when I get up to the other one, it's not going to be it's going to be a little bit too difficult just for me. At least right now, without having too many upgrades. And let's take some of these guys out. Take them down. Good. And have some rockets, you bastards. There we go. That still got me. Still got me. And as you can see these guys, they stay right out of range of your weapons, which is a pain in the neck, but still doable. And this one, missile damage is better. Only minus 4% though on the missile fire rate, but that's, yeah, unless, yeah. More damage is better actually, so I guess maybe we'll do the downgrade and then upgrade that one again. This shield is not as good as what we have, and then this drive is not as good as what we have. Okay, so let's go do this upgrade on this guy. There we go, and then let's cool down our armor, and then we need more units to upgrade our shields and stuff. Want to have the best shields I can do, because that's my shield strength is only 61 right now, and I need much more than that, because you take a lot of hits, especially these little guys here. They'll just fly by and do kamikazes on you. So it's at some points too, as you get to the higher levels, they'll just basically jump on you as soon as you get into the map. You'll be completely surrounded and unable to really avoid much of the incoming fire. And I think that's the only part of this that kind of bothers me, is that I feel like despite my best efforts, I can't really avoid a lot of this stuff, because they fly in so tight and the maneuvering is so kind of weird that I can't seem to do what I need to do. But I mean, that's part of the difficulty, I think, and part of the charm probably too. So it's not saying, like I said, not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, just that it's something strange and weird. So let's upgrade this. And then I don't think I have anything that takes 6. Okay, so we've done that. We'll go to the next battle. And it's just this, this is the basic game, just on and on. I haven't seen anything else that's really, other than getting jumped by a bunch of things, I haven't seen anything that really is different between the levels. I mean, obviously there's difficulty here, and the backgrounds are different, but it's not, there's nothing stand out that I can say, oh yeah, this level was particularly different from the other ones. You're seeing basically the same enemies over and over for the most part. That's why I say when I say this is largely feature complete, I'm like, I think you guys need to add some more flair, some more enemy, types, and maybe some different mechanics, like having, maybe you could add some like submissions to it, right? Like, destroy 5 of these things in 20 seconds or something like that, because you're already keeping the time as to how long you've been in there. Or, maybe it's a longer term one, like upgrade your weapon to level 8 or something like that, and you get some extra upgrade units or something like that. I think it needs another MacGuffin, if you will, to make it less of a basically just a basic grind. I mean, there's not a lot to really take away from this, right? It's just kind of like, it's one of those things where it's good for, this is the kind of thing I would expect to see on a mobile device, right? Because it's good for, like, I just need to kill some time and I want to shut my brain off and just kind of enjoy what's here and not want anything that's really too deep. And that's what this is. I mean, it's not very deep, and I think that's most of my complaints, I guess, is that I feel like they could go a lot deeper with it. They could make it a lot more interesting. There is, believe it or not, there is some music playing. You may not be able to hear it. I've got the audio all the way up, and it's still very, it's atmospheric, but it's not, it's almost barely there. I mean, it's so atmospheric, it's barely there. So it's little things like that, I think, would go a long way towards improving how this, making this more interesting, a more interesting endeavor to play, because like I said, I've been playing the same ship over and over again, and obviously the other ships might prove a different and interesting challenge, but I don't necessarily like. There's not enough here to have me come back that often, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Like I said, it's a nice game for when you want to kill. You got some time to kill. You gotta do some things, or you're waiting for something to happen, and you just you're waiting for an upload or something like that, or whatever the case may be. It's nice for that. It's a nice way to just kind of relax and do some things, and so there's nothing particularly wrong with that. That's always a good casual way of going, but it feels like there's more potential here, a lot more potential than what they have reached. So let's see, 65 and 40. All right, so that's not that good. And some of these upgrades are, they're like higher levels, but they're not really that much better in the stats. Like, I feel like the stats are not being rolled too well. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like you're kind of stuck on a certain thing because you want these certain stats, and it's not. But even then, do the stats really help that much? I mean, like, the warp distance and warp cooldown is nice because I can use my warp more often, but I can't say that I actually really noticed that much. I could upgrade this to this other drive, but it's not necessarily better, obviously. So it's got sort of, I think some of the loot maybe could use some tweaking, some more tweaking to how it gets rolled out. And I mean, it's obviously upgrading as I go, because we're level 9 here, and I'm seeing mostly 8, 9, and 10 level weapons, which is good. It's just, it just feels very basic right now, is what it feels like. And it feels like it could be more. It could be much more. Because you see that I'm doing, most of the time I'm just melting the inventory items. And there is a melt all here, but it's like basically most of the time I'm just saying, like, yeah, let's just melt all these and just keep upgrading what I got, because it's got the stats that I want. So that's, and then the upgrades are lackluster, but at least you're keeping your stats and you're going up a little bit. Like, it would be nice to see some more of the stats go up a little bit more dramatically when you do things. You know, right now it doesn't seem like there's too much to go on. Like, the missile damage went up by 1% there, which is good, but the fire rate didn't go down any, and it's kind of like, you know, it feels almost like a waste at times to do it. It's like, should I just bank it all and just wait for something good to come down and then just go from there, or what is the case with that? Alright, so let's get away from them. Okay, and this guy. Now see, I can put the flares out for this, but those things don't seem to be attracted to flares at all, which is annoying, to say the least. And then you get into a situation like this where suddenly you've got 20 guys on you, and it doesn't feel like you can really go anywhere. Oh, these missiles are these missiles are doing quite well, actually. I'm very surprised at that. Oh, there goes my shield. Let's put that up there. That was not close enough. There we go, and excellent. Excellent, Smithers. It looks like we got a purple thing in that one. So let's do inventory again. And what did we get that was interesting? That one's not as good as what we got. And this one, yeah, I think definitely they need some tweaking of this stuff, which I imagine is something that they were looking for, is some feedback on whether or not these upgrades are of any use. And I find myself more often than not just ditching whatever comes down and just upgrading what I got. Because, like I said, there's nothing here that's really blowing my skirt up, per se. And recharge, yeah, it's not really that spectacular. 85 shield recharge pulse, yeah. Yep. All right, so let's see if I upgrade this guy. And we'll upgrade our armor because it needs it. And then that's all I can do. I thought maybe I could get another one off the shields, but that's not yet. Not just yet. Our shields are still pretty low. And you see we went through easy already. And then, you know, I can go through casual pretty quickly too. In fact, we'll just do that now while I'm at it. But you can see, I think you've pretty much seen all of the game at this point. There's not much more to it than this. And see, even on casual, these guys are getting some good shots in. And let's see if I can throw some flares out there. And let's get the E on. Yeah, see, these things line up to the point where you just can't get a word in edgewise. Like, the missiles feel like they go a little bit too fast to where you just can't possibly, you know, get away from them fast enough. So it's, yeah. And as maneuverable as I'm supposedly am, it just doesn't feel like I'm that maneuverable. Let's put it that way. Feels like the upgrades don't really have an impact on things. So let's see if I can kill this guy. And then let's get away from that. Excellent. Alright, 82 seconds for that one. What did we get? We got more crap, it looks like. This one's crap too. Alright, melt all those. And then let's upgrade our shields as much as I can. We got 20 points now, but all these are more expensive. You see the upgrades get so expensive that you end up just taking a lower tier thing. Oh, see, now here's one of those ambush things where they just send 92 guys at you with all their missiles. There we go. Take that out. Take that out. See, even in casual mode, it's like you can see it gets pretty hectic, though not incredibly difficult. Like my shield is still holding rather well. Where are you at? Yep, there we go. So it seems like the difficulty modes really drive how much damage is done to your ship, not what kind of enemies you face. Yeah, now we're sort of capping at like a level. Well, we're still level 12, so I guess this is correct. Yeah, you know what? We're just gonna do that. That's just easier that way. Let's get a little bit more maneuverability, more shields, and that's that. I'd say. Alright then. So what I'm going to do, I want to show the ships and whatnot. So let me go and get myself killed a little bit later here. I'm not going to do it on the casual, but I'm going to do some more of this off camera, and then I'll be right back and I'll show you what it's like when you fail horribly. Alright, this is what hard mode looks like, my friends. See if I can get some things going here. Ooh, yeah, there's lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. Let's get away from there. So you gotta use all your stuff here. Get away from things. Alright, alright, alright. Let's get away from that. Do Q here. Yep. It's a missile. It is definitely bullet hell. Let's put it that way. As you get up into the higher levels. So we will definitely die here shortly. Yep, there it is. It's very difficult to get past all that stuff. But you see, I gathered up 7 glory. The glory is what we use to actually upgrade our ships in between every death. Though the time to die is quite long, depending on what you do here. So you can see that's our score. If I go to the upgrade menu, right now these two are locked, so we need 200,000 points in order to unlock this, and 300,000 points with the Scotty ship to unlock that one. What ship? Scotty ship. Yeah. So certain ships you have to get a bunch of points for to unlock the next ones. There's a couple that are still in development apparently. But here's where we use our glory points. So here's the ship that we were in. You see I had its weapon system upgraded by 10% already. Defense systems I could upgrade to level 2, so they're now at 10% more. And then the Odin I haven't used yet at all, but I could upgrade his weapon damage and stuff. And you can see that's, as you get more points with it, you can unlock these things. You have to get 200,000 points. I think I only had... Did I not have 300,000 with that guy? That's weird that it didn't unlock. I feel like I had 300,000 points, and this still didn't unlock, which is kind of strange. So I don't know if that's quite working yet. But you can see where we're at with all those things. And of course you bank glory for next time, and then you just go ahead and you start a new game again, and then start over from level 0 and move your way up to wherever you want to be, and you start out at whatever difficulty level you want to start out at. So it's pretty straightforward. There's like I said, there's not a whole lot of depth to it. It's one of those games where it's $3 on Steam right now. It's not asking much of you. It's kind of just here's a way to kill some time more than anything else. And yeah, it's still in early access. It is by Ugly Beard Games, and that has been Void Vikings, my friends. As always, links will be down in the description. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.